Okay, this is lesson 9.7 and it is about renting cars. Hope you have learned some things about cars over the last few lessons. Again, you'll need your notes, pencil, calculator. Okay, so the objective of this lesson is to calculate the cost to rent a vehicle and the cost per mile to drive a rented vehicle. When you rent something, you're agreeing to pay a set fee for the use of property, such as a vehicle or building, often on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. So from time to time, you might need to rent a vehicle, which means you need to use a vehicle by agreeing to pay a set fee. Some vehicle rental agencies charge a daily fee plus per mile rate. Others charge a daily rate with no mileage fee. In either case, you pay for the gasoline used. So the formula is the total cost divided by the number of miles. So the tricky part about this is going to be figuring out the total cost, okay? Because this is not just, they don't tell you what the total cost, you have to figure it out, and then we're going to divide it by miles. So there really is two steps here, okay? First, you need to find the total cost. And then second, you need to divide that by the number of miles. So really two different steps, but one formula that we're going to use. So if you need to write these down so you know what to do first and second, that would be helpful. Okay, let's look at an example. Joe Wozniak rented a standard SUV in Cleveland for 3 days at $49.95 per day plus 20 cents per mile. He purchased the collision waiver for $24.99 per day. Joe drove 468 miles and paid $66.70 for gas. So you can see that there's a lot of things that go into it. So here's your step one, find the total cost. So 49.95 times 3. Okay, and then we write this below. So it might be wise to write them out and then multiply below. Cost per mileage is 468 miles times 20 cents. The collision waiver, gasoline, and you find the total cost. Then you divide that by the number of miles. So you're really going to have to look in the problem. So this is 20 cents per day, and you have to remember it was for 3 days. So that's where they get. So where do they find all of these different things? If you have questions, please ask. Let's try to do 2 of them on your own. So you can pause and do them. I'm going to work out number 1. Winona Perry rents a car for $30 a day for 4 days plus 22 cents per mile. She does not need CDW. She drives 430 miles and spends $59.90 on gasoline. So the daily cost, remember, is 30 times 4. Then I'm going to the gas. So I'm going to add 22 cents times, how many miles did they put on there? 430. Okay, so remember parentheses, we're going to do this within. If you do 30 times 4 plus 22 times 40, I don't think you're going to get the right answer. Sometimes calculators perform that differently. Plus, she doesn't need the CWI, but she did spend $59.90 on gas. Oops, this is 90. So, if this is 120, plus this comes to, I believe, $94.60, plus the $59.90, you should get $247.50. Now, that's just my total cost. Now my cost per mile is, I take that $247.50, divide it by 430, and I get 0.6383, and it goes on in your calculator. So we're going to do 2 digits to the right of the decimal. Here's our decimal, 1, 2. Look here, change here, 0.64 cents. So that's how much it costs you to rent your vehicle, 64 cents per mile. Try number 2 and then I'll give you the answers. Great. Here is number 2. A is your total cost, $363.85, and B, when you divide it by how many miles, is $1.84. Okay, so move on to the practice.